first episode of the podcast for the Experimental and Civic Arts Lab at UNH, supported by the Responsible Governance and Sustainable Citizenship program in the College of Liberal Arts. Episode 1 is just an introduction to the Experimental and Civic Arts Lab. We are basically 3 people: Lisa Zahabi, K.Heeley, that's me, and Thomas Jackson. And our goal is to take Martin Luther King's 6 principles of nonviolent activism and translate those into multimodal creative arts projects. The premise here is that Martin Luther King's principles of nonviolence remain relevant and remain a valid and powerful rubric to understand ourselves and what's happening in the world around us, and also to assess artwork. We can use King's principles as guide points for creating multimodal works of art. This is especially important or useful when we're doing artwork that is meant to comment on and respond to contemporary social issues and current events. Just to give you one example of that, one of King's principles is the idea of avoiding violence of all kind, including internal violence of the spirit. The phrase internal violence of the spirit is especially useful, I think, because it's easy to justify violence towards enemies, whether real or perceived, if we assume that the suffering caused by our violence will be over there and not over here. And what King's philosophy allows us to do is to understand that the suffering in the world, whether we caused it or not, is over here. That your suffering is my suffering. And also, when it comes to engaging political opponents, violence, including not just physical violence, but intemperate words used to scapegoat or demonize or accuse others, that form of violence is also a form of internal violence of the spirit. If we can see how we're hurting ourselves in what we're doing, that's an effective entry point for nonviolence. So what we'll do in future episodes is we'll take specific case studies, pieces of art, videos, music compositions, and we'll take them apart, examine them closely, apply King's principles, and offer insights, ideas, strategies for artists, makers, creators to bring King's principles to your work.